This is Infection, the survival podcast, recorded live on Tuesday, September 27th, 2016, episode 89. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Infection, the survival podcast. Infection is your source for the latest information on survival video games. We bring you the latest news, reviews, updates, and more each and every week. My name is Nick Craig, at Nicholas M. Craig is my Twitter. InfectionPodcast.com is the website. And if you're interested in politics and news, check out atnshow.com for the latest on that with Against the Norm. Joining me, almost 90 episodes, Brian. How are you?
Yep, we're right there on the doorstep. I'm doing good. So
wow, that's a great analogy. Right there on the doorstep.
Yeah, right there on the doorstep. I don't know what happens once we enter the door at 90, but we'll see. If you want to find me at Boise Computer on Twitter, or you're more than welcome to check out my blog, Bite of Tech, and that's BITE of tech.com. Through the week, join us in Discord. We have a link right on the right-hand side of our website. If you go to infectionpodcast.com, there will be a link there that I think says join Discord or join our Discord or something like that. And that will get you right into there. And you only have to click it once. And it keeps you logged in as long as you have the program open. And then also our Steam group, if you're looking for a way to find us in games, especially when we're grouping up in games like H1Z1. If you want to be able to see everybody and find their names to group up, just join the Steam group. Got 350-ish people in there. So it's a good way to go.
Oh, those are great ways to get in touch with us and whatnot. God, my camera's all dark again. I don't know what's going on. So let's see. What game did you guys do on Friday? You did Heroes and Generals?
We did Heroes and Generals, which is a really fun game. It's free to play. Okay. It is, and actually, sometimes we'll play a game and we'll quit early. Just because we're like, I can't, this is too much, or there's problems with it or something. And we played that one the whole time. It's a really fun game.
Good.
It is definitely one where as you play and learn your weapon and things like that, you get better at it, but also it's a grind. Like, you don't just get a sniper rifle right away. You don't get a machine gun right away. You start out with the lowest level weapon, and you have to play a lot of games to slowly build up funds. And then you can get, like, I have a sniper rifle and a machine gun, but I've played a decent number of hours in that game.
Gotcha. All right, cool.
But it was a lot of fun. We'll have to do it again.
And coming up this week is another opportunity. I don't know if you're going to be around, Brian. I will be. But another opportunity if you say, hey, you guys always play games that I don't have. This is the third. Actually, the next week will be a free-to-play game. But this week we are playing Unturned, which is that kind of 8-bit Minecraft-y survival game that we talk about pretty regularly here on the show.
Yep.
We played it once before a while ago, like a really long time. I want to say like maybe.
And I had never played it before that,
and it was fun.
Yeah, and so if you want to run around and kind of get used to everything beforehand, I would encourage you to do that. Just
as would I. Figure
out the controls and figure out the game so that when we get in there, we actually are able to get in and hit the ground running.
Yeah. I remember there were issues last time. I don't remember what the issues were.
Yeah, and that's what I don't remember. So that's what I'm saying. And I do remember that it was a struggle just kind of getting everybody started and then going. So try to make sure it's loaded and maybe run around for 15 minutes throughout the week sometime, just so that you're comfortable. And it's not the interface you're probably used to. I know they've done a lot of changes, but it takes a little bit of getting used to that game. So definitely try it out. And it's free, so it's not like you have to pay for it now and then install it and all that. Just download it now and get it installed and just play it when you have a chance.
Yeah. So that's this Friday night, somewhere between 9 and 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Unturned. Get it installed. Get it launched. Get in the game. Familiarize yourself with the controls. Make sure your audio and stuff is all set up, and then we'll see you in Discord around then. And of course on our website, if you're not in our Discord. We've seen that there's a lot of activity in Discord the past few days about a bunch of different games, but a lot of activity in there. If you go to the website, it's infectionpodcast.com, and right over here on the right-hand side, there is a Discord button where you can click to join our Discord and connect and do all that fun stuff right in Discord. So you can do that over on our
and
website.
You have I think we almost have like 90 people in there. So
yeah, there's even this weekend there was 30 or something people online.
I mean, there's
at the
30 people
same
logging, but
time.
we have about 90 members though
in the
it,
room.
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
So cool stuff.
And that fluctuates, you know, the number of people in there. But it's once you get in there, whenever you open Discord, as I said, it'll always bring you back to that room. So you can just open it up whenever you want to hang out and maybe play some games. And we're playing a lot of H1Z1 this week. And so at least I have, and I know a number of the people in the clan have. So we'll be talking about that a decent amount today.
Gotcha. All right. That's, I believe, all of the housekeeping stuff. If you want to,
so yeah, let's lead into. They put out a blog for Just Survive. It's been a little while.
You want to do that first, or you want to do King of the Kill first?
Okay, yeah, we can do because the Just Survive is pretty short. So let's go ahead and jump right into King of the Kill.
So King of the Kill. Brian and I played a lot this week with some other people. PHVCK, No Rage was in there. Unicorn Joe, Green Man Cartoons. We played with different groups of people throughout the week. I should say throughout the weekend. Last week, I believe where we left off was the game was supposed to be out of beta, out of early access, whateverness, and done on the 20th, which was last week. And we heard that was going to be delayed because the game wasn't done. The patch was not live yet.
And they said it would stay in alpha for now.
Yes. So,
and they didn't give a date.
Yes. So that's where we were last week.
They didn't say like a week or 2 weeks. They just said it's going to stay that way for now.
Yeah. So that was all we knew, is that it wasn't, we didn't know, we had no details. We didn't know when the patch was coming, if the patch was coming, in some reasonable fashion, or what the details were. Now we actually have that information. So they did an update on the 23rd, which was, it was actually Thursday night. They started the update at 1:00 Friday morning Pacific time, and this was the patch, the previous patch, and all the other stuff that we've been talking about for essentially for months now. The new UI, the new map, all of that stuff finally coming to King of the Kill
on the live server.
On the live server, exactly. It's been on test. So all that stuff coming to the live server. There's some bug fix stuff in here, but I don't. It's not really important to what happened. So they pushed essentially all the stuff to from the test server to live, and there was a bit of a hiccup. It was supposed to be, according to this blog post, a 2 to 4 hour maintenance thing, which is typically what they do, 2 to 4 hours. It ended up being something like 11 hours that the game was down. There was some...
Yeah, they said that there was some unexpected
it was a server issue
popped up.
And it was becoming... There was no details on it, which is always unfortunate, but there was some server issues. The game was down. It came back up. We got in a game. It went.
We got into one game. We all met up, and it was like we were 5 minutes into it, probably.
Yeah, and then the service disconnected.
And then
again.
all it disconnected, and they said, "All right, it's going to be down for a while again."
And it was down for. It wasn't long. It was, I want to say, maybe 40 minutes or something.
Like an hour.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
So
it was like an hour or so, but people were saying, "Oh, here comes another 12 hours."
Yeah. So there were some issues getting this patched from build to live, which it just honestly, Brian, it's been an issue.
Yeah.
This entire time is getting stuff from. I don't know why it's such an issue. Getting stuff from test to live.
I remember when they first said, "All right," I mean, I said it on this show when they said originally, "We are coming out of alpha on the 20th," and I remember saying, "Are you crazy? Like, you think you're just going to roll out without even testing the stuff on the 20th and come out of alpha?" And obviously they saw that their track record does not prove that that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And this is perfect example. I mean, we're 1 week after supposedly when they were talking about coming out of alpha now, and it still has a lot of bugs. And I mean, if you want to go into
let's just say the invitational is this weekend. It is October 2nd, which is this Sunday. There will not be, at least at this point, it does not appear that there will be we're not going to be able to do a wrap-up show. Brian and I are both busy on Sunday, so but we'll have the updates and stuff on Tuesday. We'll probably devote about half the show to wrapping up the invitational and covering all the results and whatever. So We'll have that on Tuesday, but there won't be a wrap-up show. But this, I believe I called this properly, that they were not going. You said, if I remember properly, that they would have like the game servers live by like the 6th or the 13th. I think that was something like your prediction. The 2 and 5 man BRs still do not score. There's no
they
first
don't function
place.
but now, and here's a post, because this was brought up in Reddit about how the 2s and 5s not working.
So
like you can play.
So what essentially what that means is that the 2 and 5 man BRs work fine. You can get people. Well, I shouldn't say they work fine. They work all right. You can get
play.
people into a lobby. But there's no winner. There's no loser.
So no matter what, the first place scores second place.
Correct.
So it's impossible to get first place in the 2 and 5 mans. Also, you can't wage like because what you can do is, we were talking about this a little bit in the last couple of weeks. You can do a bounty system. So you can say, all right, I'm going to bet one of this coin or 100 of this type of coin. The 3 different kinds. You can bet some of those, and then if you score a certain like place in the game, you'll win different things back.
Yeah, double it or triple it or something like that.
Yeah, and they have a scoring sheet that they use. Now, the problem is that because you, first of all, can't get first place, you never would get that, even if your team won, which we did. We won over the weekend.
What do we win?
First place
2 or 3 different times or something?
Yep, and we never could win first place. It always said second place. And also, they're not giving any rewards for this. So it's just in the solo games right now, which is for me leading to a bigger problem, that people that are in groups don't want to do the 2s and 5s because you're not getting the rewards for it. And so you have groups of 2 to 5 people going into the solo games, and that's just causing a bigger problem there. And so for me, that's frustrating, because every time I go into a solo game, you'll get to the top 10, and there's always groups of people together.
Yeah.
So
this is the okay. So enough of the negativity, enough of the negative stuff. Let's talk about some positives, and this is more of a PSA to H1Z1 people and Daybreak people, people that play the game. There is a lot of good stuff with Z2 and what they've done to this game. The new UI, for the most part, is fantastic. It's smooth. It's clean. You no longer have to skin up your hat and your shirt and your pants every single time. You set it and forget it. It automatically skins every single time. That process is so smooth, so clean. You never have to think about it again. It's not something you have to worry about.
And as far as the queuing system, I mean, it usually works.
It's pretty damn good, Brian.
It's pretty close.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because so many people are trying all at once, but you would run into an issue where it would sit there and say there's this many people left. We would close it. We'd reopen it. And I'm sure that right now, this is their initial pass at that. Like, they've got it to where it's functioning for the most part, but I'm sure that they're not really wanting to make big changes to the map or to the code right now, right before the tournament. Like, they don't want to risk,
I agree,
breaking the base code of the game days before their tournament. So I really don't think that they're going to put out a patch or try to change any of that drastically right now. And so and we ran into this, I think, last year too, whatever bugs or whatever issues that you're dealing with right now, coming up to a week before the tournament, you're probably just going to have to wait till after the tournament to expect any of those things to be fixed, because they are really pushing it close. Much closer than, as close as you predicted.
I was right.
Much closer.
I wish I had a ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
Actually, I do have a ding, but I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I had a suspicion that they would cut it pretty freaking close, and I would say that 11 hours of downtime, 1 week before the Invitational, is cutting it pretty close. So I'm going to give myself.
That was pretty much them saying, "All right, I'm going
to give myself a gold star for that, because
we have to get the base game like at least stable enough to do this tournament and not have anything ridiculous." So that's pretty much all of them working it straight. From looking at what they said, like, that was all their employees that are technical employees, pretty much working that 12 hours, just getting it done. Not during normal business hours.
Exactly. So
it was expensive. They put in the resources.
Yeah. So otherwise, let's talk other positives. So the UI system really, for the most part, really, really good.
Okay, and here's one thing that
positives, Brian.
Yes, my compulsiveness, like with buying games.
Fully aware. Yes.
Okay, so this is their whole goal. Like when I went through after the upgrade, and then I'm going through and looking now at the shirts and everything else. Like I have that, like with the game,
because you now see them.
I now see it's like
out. Yeah.
I don't have those boxes checked. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't select that. Not that I would ever even use them, but for me, it's like, oh, I need to either play more. I need to do something to get those, because it's like those micro goals.
They're tricking.
You know what I'm saying? That's just the way that. I mean, you can look at Farmville, look at all these different types of games. That was the whole point that really drew people in, was those mini goals and the little achievements and all that. And this UI and this new system actually plays on that, when there was nothing before that would even hint at that. Like now there's a leaderboard system that actually says, here's your ranking compared to other people, regardless of whether you ever do anything with it. Like, just you seeing that's going to make you push a little bit harder. And then there's also, look at all these skins that you could have. Here's what you have to choose from. Like it's a brilliant move, development wise, doing that. And because for me, a person who could care less about skins before, like I just had a second where I caught myself saying, oh, I really, man,
ouch,
why don't I have these skins? You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, snap out of it.
don't fall for the trick.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of it. And that I caught myself doing it, and so I know that there's plenty of people that are doing that.
So that whole system, I think, is pretty well defined. It works way better than it did before. There's no longer this list of 16 different, of the same hat or whatever. So that system is
now, it does show you the numbers. Like,
yeah,
I guess you can still have multiples of it.
Yeah.
But and I don't think that's in the regular game yet, because I looked around. I didn't see a way to scrap anything. I think that's in the test server.
Gotcha. But it doesn't even matter if you do scratch, or it doesn't matter if there's a number or not, because you never have to see it. For the most part, you pretty much set it up and then you just kind of leave it alone. Yeah. That's the nice thing about the system. Okay, I don't want to have to worry about I don't want to have to worry about every time I play a game, frantically left or right clicking on skins to get my right things. It works now. Yeah. And so many people are complaining on the internet about things they don't like, and nobody is spending any time talking about the things that they did and that they did well. So I want to spend some time highlighting that, because talking this week, and I remember a few conversations I had specifically with PHVCK, who we played with, I think, the entire time this weekend. He was kind of bringing out some of the negative things in the game. And I said, hey, stop a second and let's talk about some of the positive things. So other than that, positivity. Z2, I think, is a really good map. I see people on Reddit complaining. Shut up. I mean, just shut up. Your points are
much more. It's much more spread out. I mean, we got so used to Z1 where, take a look at downtown Pleasant Valley, the police station.
Literally the city was the size of like the smallest little thing.
And you could take their biggest city and you say, either I'm landing at the police station area, or I'm landing by the apartments. Like that was the two main areas for that huge city.
Yeah.
And then if you take the other ones, like there was still a limited, it's even smaller area to land. Now you generally say, all right, let's kind of go for this area. And you don't have 5 groups around you. You may have another group around you, or let's say you're individuals, you may have 3 people, but it's not where everyone is going to the same place anymore.
So there's good. That is true, but we also did have plenty but it's not too big, where we had plenty of run-ins with other groups right off the bat, because I only played 5-man BRs, or 4-man BRs. So we had that, but Z2 is a perfect map for King of the Kill. Just Survive, I don't know yet. I don't know what the
running around, because I played this a lot, this over the weekend, and just running around, I was thinking, man, this will be a lot more enjoyable in a survival aspect of just and for me, I kind of look at it as I compare a lot of it to the feeling I got, get with Miscreated of the environment, and they're not to that level. Like they're placing things, and I don't know if they're going to go through then do a pass of like, let's just put Easter eggs in there, because that's the kind of stuff I like. But maybe in survival they will kind of put some more of that story in there. I mean, that's always the thing I'm always bringing up and hoping for is, and that's where they really could go the extra mile with survival, is putting those Easter eggs of, oh, look at this kind of story that unfolded here. And there is a lot more of that in here. Like I remember bringing up on Z1 before, there was none of that. Like, yeah. You'd really have to read into a scene or a situation.
You'd have to make. You'd have to fabricate almost the entire thing yourself.
Yeah. But you can look. I mean, if you go to the hospital and you go down to the bottom floor, which is the morgue, and you see blood all over the walls, and you see, all these bodies, and then you go to these different places, and just they actually are putting some of that stuff into where there's skeletons on the street, and I would hope that they, once they pass this tournament thing, of having to get everything as stable as possible, that they start to put in some of those details. And there's a lot of them in there, but I know that, man, this has just been a rush for them. Like this has been a tough haul to get where they're at today from where we were looking at, 6 months ago? Yeah. Of kind of like this being a surprise.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
All right. I want to highlight one thing, Brian, and I don't think people are thinking about this. We had unbelievable gunplay and gun battles in Z2. I have never had even one good gunfight in Z1. Not once did I have any good gunfights that were even close to.
Are you talking about in Battle Royale?
Yes, in Battle Royale. Okay. I've never.
I mean, we've had a few good. I mean,
in Just Survive. In Just Survive. Yeah, definitely. In King of the Kill, I had never had throughout the entire time I played King of the Kill beforehand, I never had one good gunfight compared to even the worst gunfight we had in Z2 this weekend. Every single gunfight, Brian, was fantastic. Every single one of them. Even when we got killed instantly, the gunplay was great. Now, there were a few times where people were just, I don't understand how I was getting killed. 2 shots, you put 6 shots into them.
They're still going to work on the hitboxes, which I don't know.
There may have been some lagging issues. I'm not too concerned about that.
Do you think that that's something that they're going to, once this is more settled after the tournament, them starting to enforce the ping restrictions and things like that?
I definitely do think that is a thing. But the thing I want to cover about the gunplay is not the hitbox or the weapons. It's the amount of it's the map itself. The one that kind of sticks out to me the most is the one that we had on the hill near the hospital. We killed a group of people across. There's this big hill near the hospital. We killed a group of people across the hill. We killed 3 of them. Then we moved over there, and another group started attacking us, and then another group started attacking us, and we had to fall back, and we were able to fall back and get a few kills. Then we were able to fall back a little more, and then we all died. But it was good gunplay the entire time.
We were actually using cover too.
Yes, we used tree.
That was one thing that there was so little.
I've never used a tree for I've never used anything as a barrier in Z1. Never.
See, I would always just use rocks. Like I would go up to a rock and kind of use it to, but now with the new system and having trees, like you can edge yourself forward and work around trees. And I've been really noticing more now as far as like the helmets and the body armor, like that's really coming into play now.
Yes.
Because, and I like how they did that of, you take a shot and you can tell, oh, I just knocked their helmet off. Okay, now their body armor's gone. Like with the sounds and the hit markers and everything, like you can kind of tell where they're at. Oh, they're bleeding. All right, let's chase them. Like that really adds to the game.
Yeah.
For me. And so, and like I've been playing and I've been seeing my skill in the game as far as, all right, I'm getting the headshots and I'm getting all those things improving because I've had that motivation to play it again.
So the gunplay and the cover and all that stuff was good. The other thing that was good, the binoculars and the map itself. I've never used binoculars I don't think I ever really used them.
Well, before you just would see the black dot and like, what was the point of the binoculars?
So now with binoculars, we are watching cars in the distance. We're watching groups in the distance go by. We watched cars jumping over other cars in the distance and we were watching other groups have battles from afar with binoculars, which is something I never did in King of the Kill. And the people we were playing with had never done in King of the Kill previously.
Well, like Green Man, he always says that he drops his binoculars. Like just because of Z1, he would out of habit always drop his binoculars. And then you're sitting there scoping out, like, look at these people, they're having a battle, and you're calling it out, and he's like, I want to see.
Yeah, well, and that was
like,
the cool
why are you
thing.
dropping your binoculars? And so now he carries his binoculars with him.
That was the cool thing, is we were, as a group of I mean, the teamwork was just fan. And people are gonna say, "Oh my God, you're fanboying super hardcore." I don't care. We had a really good time with the game.
We had an
amazing time.
We had a long time where, and this is how it was originally for us. Like when we had a group of people and we just played, like it was a lot of fun. Of course, there still has to be some progression, with the game that we ran into just not happening with, and whatever. We don't need to rehash all that, but with how they're doing it now, like if they can continue to build on this and just keep fine tuning it, it'll be great. I know they'd still have to do optimization and, whatever, but, for me, it ran fairly well. I don't know, maybe people that have slower computers. I wasn't really watching my frames per second, my ping, all those things, but I didn't notice anything ridiculous when I was playing. Some of our foreign players were seeing problems with ping and kind of, like we were riding in a vehicle with PH. I think he was the one driving, and his ping, when it would slow down, like the vehicle would start to go in slow motion. Yeah. And then it would slingshot ahead when it caught. And we're just sitting there like, what is going on?
And there were some issues with that, but God, man, I had so much fun playing the game this weekend, playing H1Z1 King of the Kill this weekend than I've had in that game in a very, very, very long time. We're talking months and months and months ago, 6, 7, 8 months ago. Is when we were at that same level. Z2 is good. The new HUD is fantastic. The queue system for the most part,
it's a much easier. Yeah,
it's quick, man. It's quick. You get in there. You just
the system that I brought up. I brought up. You want something that looks good on screenshots, and this is that.
Exactly. We took plenty of screenshots. It was just fun. And part of it was that the group aspect is of course always fun. That's
where I think once they get the 2 to 5 man, because playing alone, it's fun, but I don't get near the enjoyment out of it as I do with 2 and 5 man. And so I think once they start getting the rewards to where, you feel like there's actually an incentive to do 2 and 5 mans, I think that's just going to keep people playing even more, especially in our group. Yeah. Because you'd be like, hey, let's just do a 2-man.
You did a couple 2-mans. Were those any different from the 5-mans, or did you have the same amount of interaction?
It was very similar to the 5-man. It was pretty much PH and I just did a lot of games this weekend, and we did really well. And we were able to communicate through the whole thing and call out, hey, I'm going to the right, you go to the left, use the cover. Like it all worked. Yeah.
It's it was just a fun, enjoyable time. We played, I'd say 5-man BRs. I played maybe 4 or 5 hours of it, maybe even more. We played a lot. We played Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I should not have been playing. I had things I needed to do, and that did not get done because of it. But it was just fun, man. It was just a lot of fun. I was sitting there and just one person would throw, hey, who wants to play? And then out of the woodwork crawled 4 people, and the next thing you know, we're in game. So it was a lot of fun. The game, it's good. All right, I have not said this in a very long time, Brian, and I don't know if you're going to agree with me, but I can honestly say right now that H1Z1 King of the Kill is a good game. As of right now, it is a good game. It's, for the most part, pretty polished for a first run of a live server or a live game.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, as long as they continue to do the optimizations, like now that they have a polished game out, right?
Yeah.
It's 90% there as far as King of the Kills. Survive is its own thing. We're not even talking about that whatsoever, because I could go off and complain for the next hour about that. But as far as King of the Kill is concerned, for what it is, it's not a survival game. It's a first-person shooter. Now that they have that amount of polish down, to work on optimization from here on out. Like if they can get it, because that's where, when it gets down to really competitive, the professionals, like the guys that this is like their thing. I mean, they're doing Twitch 8 hours a day. Like that's where they're going to drive them away if they don't optimize the game, because they don't like losing to someone who's like a 12-year-old just playing it every once in a while. Right. They don't like to lose to him because the hitboxes aren't right, or because of lag, or, whatever. So I think that that's going to be the important thing after this.
Yeah. So
if they can continue it from this point on.
Yeah. So if you haven't already played this, try to play with somebody else. Just try to play with one other person. The call outs are great. We were doing call outs constantly calling out vehicles, constantly calling out players. And that's what made, I think, the gunplay really good, is that you were able to see people and call them out, and it wasn't just bam, you're getting, it happens sometimes, but for a large majority of it, we were kind of the aggressors in a lot of these cases. People would drive by and we'd start shooting at their car.
So this is very different from 6 months ago, where you would go and then you would hide in a bush, or you just sit there and wait.
Yeah.
Right. We were like, okay, let's go find somebody. Let's go. Because before there was no point. I mean, whether it was hackers were flying around, and like, if I just make myself out there, like someone's going to fly out and kill me. But now it's like, we're like, okay, let's go find some people to kill, because we're wanting to get those extra kills. We're wanting to progress in the game, which is very different. Because I remember you and I doing 2-mans.
We would just sit in a tree.
And we were like, we're just sitting here, and we're like, okay, we could go. You want to go get a drink? What do you want to do? Like, and we got 10 minutes to wait.
Exactly. And the nice thing is with the zone, we died once because we were too far away from the zone. We waited too long and we died. That would never have happened in C1. But it's super. What's it? 2.5 minutes into the game, the zone, it gets announced, and then another.
Yep.
2
and
minutes,
then it starts to. So
you've got about 5 minutes before the zone actually starts. Maybe it's less. Maybe like 4 or 4.5 before the zone actually starts creeping in. But it's definitely much faster pace. We played a bunch of 40-minute games, if not longer. We played a bunch of 40 and 50-minute games. Being in some of the top places. We won a few. But the nice thing was that, like, for example, you'd land at a location and you would see another group landing there. And we had gunfights right off the bat that, we died, or, all of us got killed, or we killed all of another group.
Well, and especially like keeping in mind, like around that subdivision.
All of the subdivision every time.
When we would land in a subdivision and be like, all right, I would be in one house, you'd be in another house. And we just would kind of be, working the edges, when before, just the way that, I don't know what it was about the layout, but like with that, if you think about the old Z1 Pleasant Valley subs, like it's just a row of houses. Yeah. It doesn't feel as there's more breaking it up to where you don't have a straight row that you're just looking down. That's like, 2 or 3 rows of houses. Like,
not at all.
You're kind of landing in a section of houses, and you may clear out that area, decide to move on, but it's a very different feel. And I like that. But,
exactly.
Yeah. PHP, he brings up, no spectator mode. I'd be interested to see, if that's going to be in the next couple of weeks. I mean, I don't know how close they are or what's holding them back from spectator mode, because I know that they were expecting to have it now.
Yeah, there had to have been some issue.
Yeah. And the spectator, and we brought this up before, the spectator mode that they're going to be using in the tournament is different. They are using a fly around kind of a god mode, spectator mode with people manning those cameras. That will not be the follow cam or the death cam or the kill cam, whatever you want to call it for. Actually, not kill cam, but it won't be the follow cam once you die. That will be coming out.
Exactly. So, that's kind of the that's kind of the quick summary of just us playing the game. I don't. The other thing, the one thing to get back to something that I didn't like is they changed the interact key to F.
Yeah, this was a surprise.
Real pain. I'm sure I don't remember reading it. I may have just skimmed past it.
I didn't see it anywhere. I went into the game and I'm like, I can't pick up anything.
Well, you were like, I'm stuck in this truck. And the other thing,
I can't get out of the stupid truck.
And the thing that sucked is that changing the interact, now that they've broken them, it's good and bad, I guess. They broke down the menu so that you have your interact key when you're just walking as a player, and then your interact key when you're driving. So you have to change it in.
So yeah, initially I was like, okay, I'll change, because they made it so the new interact key is F, and then E has something to do with bandages.
E is
so
a
like
first aid
or
med
med kit.
yeah.
So you would use your med kit. Well, okay, I'd rather keep using E. So I switch E and F so that F is my med kit, E is my interact. Well, then I get in a vehicle and I'm playing like we're in the middle of a firefight. Like I can't get out of the car.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, it's like, oh, I got to hit F. So there are two different sets of keys to interact with the vehicle. So I went and changed that one too. And now everything else is pretty close. But for me, it was just strange that they wouldn't like make that a bigger deal. Like, hey, we're going to change this, or at least announce it on Twitter. Something.
Yeah, that was
Reddit,
about that
like
was
put
about
a post in Reddit.
That was the thing that it was like, oh man, come on. But again, quick fix. Just change it interact to E, change medkit to F. That's what I've done, and it's perfectly fine now. So that was.
Now, are they going to let them change that at the tournament?
Does
I mean, imagine how many people out of reaction hit E and all those things. Like we've changed it, but are they supposed to use a pretty stock configuration at the tournament? I wonder if they're going to let them mess with the key bindings.
I would bet you, because it's not like an MLG event where there's like a governing party over it. I would imagine that they would be allowed to change.
Because that would just be frustrating, if they don't let them do that.
Yeah.
It frustrated me initially, and I mean, I guess I could play and get used to it.
Oh, you could, but it's just not worth getting used to.
Yeah, might as well just switch. Exactly. I mean, I think they personally should have made F, the first aid kit E anyways. Well, now this is closer to Miscreated. Miscreated does this.
Miscreated does this, yes. This is true. Arma does that as well, yes.
So they are falling into kind of a standard for this genre, and I don't know if that's what they're thinking.
Yeah. So that's trying to think. I know we're missing stuff. I know we're missing stuff from King of the Kill, but that was pretty much our experience with King of the Kill this weekend. If you are, and by the way, the numbers on this game are fantastic. We'll cover those a little bit later on in the show. If you listen to this show and you're not a King of the Kill person, you weren't a King of the Kill person, I highly, Brian, I think you'd second this, highly recommend that you get a buddy or get 3 or 4 other buddies, get into this game and play it, because it is better than anything I've ever played with H1Z1. This is definitely the most polished H1Z1 game that we have seen in the last pretty much 2 years, or year and a half or whatever, however long it's been. So that's what I'd recommend. Getting King of the Kill. I want to play it right now, to be perfectly honest with you. I wish I didn't have
to end the show.
I wish I didn't have to upload the show after, because it bogs down my connection. I'd love to play after the show, but unfortunately I can't. So, maybe I can be able to delay the upload or something. But I want to play it, and there was I really, and I think you feel the same way about this, Brian. There was never really an incentive in King of the Kill to log in and play. Somebody had to kind of pull you in and be like, I have to bug you.
What were you
going to
get? Another of the same skin that you have 30 of already? I mean, that was pretty much the reward system.
Exactly.
There wasn't really
anything. So I'd have to beg Brian to play, or vice versa. He'd have to just kind of keep bugging me to play, and then we'd eventually play. But today and this weekend, I was by myself, like, hey, who wants to play this game? Because I want to play. I want to play more King of the Kill. It's a lot of fun, folks, and I'm not fanboying out here. As you know, if you've listened to this show for the last 89 weeks, I have not been the biggest H1Z1 fan. I have not been the biggest Daybreak fan. Go listen to episode 1. Well, maybe not episode 1. Maybe listen to episode
we're naive.
10. Yeah, exactly. Maybe listen to episode 10 or 20. I've not been a big fan of this game and a big fan of this company. They've done a lot of stupid things, but they have hit the nail on the head with King of the Kill and Z2. It's a pretty good game, and all these people on Reddit, let's talk about Z2. I wish we had Z1 back. You're an idiot. I'm sorry. That's, you can't even make that comparison. It's just people stuck in their own. People want to be stuck in their own in their old ways, and they have no interest in improvement. So. Check it out. Don't let somebody on Reddit tell you if it's good or bad. Check it out for yourself.
Yeah, go play, because I think you'll find that it feels much better.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So go check it out, and I will.
Now let's talk a little bit about we had guessed on the prize pool.
So we have one more day, but it does appear that, and we'll have this officially next week. Because we're not going to do it right now, but it does.
Do you remember what I guessed?
Yes, I do. I have got all the guesses here. So you guessed, you're going to be upset. You guessed $225,001. So
yes,
you were low. I guessed $210,000. I was way low. It does appear that Unicorn Joe, who had a guess coming in at 20. He had a 270,000. It does appear that he will be the closest, unless they get something at the end in which Nisco was 366,000, which I doubt it's going to get.
I doubt they're going to go up over 100,000.
But there could be some late thing where they push like 50 or 60 or $70,000 into this pool. They might not, but it does appear that Unicorn Joe will end up being the winner of our infection pool. We'll next week when they have, after the invitation, we'll get the final prize pool count. We'll have something. So that's that.
Yep. And so it was, you see from our guesses,
yes,
that they're doing better than we expected, because you got to think, if we were guessing 225 would be the high, they're doing very well, which, good for them. Part of this goes to a good cause, but I know that it shows you how many keys are being sold, or however they're doing it now.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know how they're doing it.
All this stuff is changing, but they're still raising money. So, and then I have a picture here of the new trophies, because remember last year they had the pig head.
Yes.
And then they had some other thing which was like a glass.
Yeah, it was like the circular thing it just said.
Yep. And so this is their new one, and I assume that those are metal and not plastic, but they could be plastic.
I'm assuming they're plastic. Metal's
maybe.
Metal's way too expensive. They look cool, man. They're cool.
It's hard to tell.
Those are cool trophies you would put behind you on a shelf.
And that's the thing is like the pig head, when that wasn't like the first place prize, it's like, or that, I guess I understand they want that to be the thing that people put on the stand behind them when they're streaming.
Yes.
And the same thing with this. Like, this is something that you would put on, behind you, behind you streaming, and it is pretty big. Some people may not have that much shelf space behind them to hold this, but it looks like a pretty decent size trophy. So looks pretty cool. And it's their theme they've been following, that the whole crown in the air that they did all the screenshots of, the stupid little crown skin that you can't turn back into fabric or into cloth in the game. Drives me crazy. So this is kind of the theme. I wonder if next year they're going to do, because they had the pig head for last year, they're doing the crown this year. This seems like they're just doing a different theme every single invitational. Possibly. So, yeah. And then I did put a link in our show notes for the King of the Kill Discord. If you want to, they have a place where you can report bugs, where you can talk to, where you can talk to, bring questions up to developers. In there I brought up, tell me about Sebastian. What's going on with Sebastian? And finally got an answer. He's just busy. He's still in the company.
Is that where you got the response back from them? Was that?
Yes. I had to go into there and ask very directly about 3 times.
Nice.
And so, so Sebastian still is there. And then I found something in game, and I took a screenshot of it. And I was just curious, what this thing is. It looks like it's a marker. Do you have a screenshot of that? It's the very last link.
Okay, hold on a second here.
So this is something I just ran across in game.
There's a few weird things like this.
And I'm just wondering, is this actually indicating something?
No, I don't think so.
What is the point of it? It is a stump with fabric tied around it with some sticks and little flags. I just don't even know what in the world this thing is.
I don't know.
So if anyone has a clue, you can tweet us, but I've run across this thing, and it may mean something in game. But yeah. So, if you have any idea, I don't know if it's it's supposed to be telling me something like directions, or I have no clue. So I figured I'd take a screenshot, bring it up.
Yes.
If anyone has any clue, they are throughout the map. This isn't the only place where that is.
There's another thing as well. It's not the same thing, but it's the similar to this. It's like a tree stump. It's just cut, and there's a few trees laying next to it, which is kind of the same thing. It's not exactly the that same thing, but it's kind of, and I kind of like those.
Yeah, just little things mixed, and that's the thing I was
Yeah.
talking about, like little Easter eggs and things like that mixed in. Like that's the kind of stuff that I like. Now, do you want to jump quickly into the Just Survive? Because they did do an update for that as far
Yes.
as the dev blog. So this was put out on the 23rd, so last week, and they pretty much were just announcing. This is from a new person. So this guy's name is Justin, aka Mord. So it's Mourd, pronounced Mored. So I assume that's his Twitter name or something like that, or Twitch name. And he is a senior system designer. So he recently joined H1Z1 Just Survive team. And so he's actually doing this one. He talks about how bullet crafting is back. So they're putting that into the new build,
Which we've talked about, I think.
which
right?
we talked about before with the crafting table and everything. The main thing they've been talking about is, they've been really working on bugs. He talks about some of the bugs of like things you can't scan or you can't, break back down. But not a huge amount of detail in this. And so I think that this was just kind of a filler, hey, introducing himself, not necessarily, hey, here's a bunch of new content. One thing though, is they are planning on, it was supposed to be today that they were going to be rolling out a patch for Just Survive. And they actually moved it to Thursday. So I'm not sure what's going to be in there. I was hoping it was going to be out before the show today.
It is not, unfortunately, yeah.
But it is not. So next week we'll have some information about a patch because they make being pretty tight-lipped about it. I would assume that it has something to do with the new map, possibly, or maybe it is just the crafting bench and all that.
Okay, yeah.
Being that they haven't said anything, I'm not going to speculate too far. But they will be doing a an update on Thursday, unless it gets pushed out a little bit.
Yeah, and now
so that's pretty much it.
Well,
that's pretty much
so
H1Z1 as far as I know.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Brian, you did mention a few times while we were playing that you were kind of disappointed that there was no first place and no prizes. So
Yes.
I just want to congratulate you with this congratulations
Thank you.
poster.
Yes, everyone gets an award.
Well, you came in first place, and you were a little bummed, so I made sure I made a note to myself to present you with something during the show. So this is your first place, Brian Aldridge,
for winning King of the Kill.
Or winning King of the Kill. So congratulations to you, sir, and to your
thank you very much.
But I know you're upset.
Forever.
I
was very frustrated.
I haven't. Oh, man, I'm trying to find this sticky note, but I literally had make prize for Brian or something like that, and I remembered. So that's there you go. Congratulations to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Yes, I feel like a winner now.
Everybody gets an award. So
do we want to announce the game giveaway?
Yeah, let's do the game giveaway.
Okay, so the first game is going to be Orcs Must Die Game of the Year Edition.
Cool.
And this is actually a really fun game. I'm going to put a link here in chat so people can check that out. And this one actually comes with a number of the not really DLCs, but it's got some extra things besides the Orcs Must Die. So it has the Artifacts of Power and the Lost Adventures. So they're pretty much actually are DLCs. And so this game normally is, I think, $12.99. Actually, this one's $12.99 right now. I think it's on sale, but
cool.
Yeah, this is Orcs Must Die Game of the Year Edition. It is a really fun game to play. I have played a decent amount of this, so
and
hopefully you'll win this. If not, you should check it out.
Yes, and of course, while you're doing that, we have a few ways to support the show if you feel so inclined to do so. You can head on over to our website, infectionpodcast.com/support. There's a few different options on there to support the show. You can do it directly through a PayPal contribution or by bookmarking our Amazon.com link. And when you buy stuff through Amazon, we get a little kickback. We got some tweets this week of people using the affiliate code for Amazon, so we appreciate that. And all that can be found on the website. It's infectionpodcast.com/support. So,
and one thing I encourage you to type !raffle to enter.
Yes.
I know we put it down there, but some people wait until we actually say it. So !raffle, and that will put you into the raffle for Orcs Must Die.
All right, let's move on over to Ark. What's going on with Arc this
All
week?
right. So Arc, they put out it wasn't a super busy week. They put out a lot of new
Not
content.
every week is a brand new expansion and brand new map.
Yeah,
and
I mean, it's
essentially
not
a brand new
like
game.
that's the issue with Arc is like we just get so used to just ridiculous
I was
amounts of
thinking
content.
about this last night. Man, they have quite a high bar to constantly be reaching because every time they do an update, they hit a grand slam. And it's like when there's a week where it's just kind of not that there wasn't anything this week, but when it's weeks of just kind of not as good stuff as like fire breathing dragons, it's like, oh, well, this kind of sucks. This game's not that great. So it's just
I know
it's a constant. They've set the bar. They've set the standard so high with these updates that when there's not like mind blowing thing like this first update is awesome. This is
if you have an Oculus Rift.
So exactly, it's already in there. But they're still fixing and working on support for the Oculus Rift. I don't know where I could try this, but I'd love to try this. I would imagine they've got stuff available like this at maybe PAX or something like that. So maybe that's an opportunity. But other than that, I don't have an Oculus. I don't know anybody that has an Oculus. So maybe I would assume check out a con if you're interested in something like, or find a friend with an Oculus
that has it.
Yeah.
And that was 247.51.
Yeah, I want to see that.
One of those minor updates. And then 247.6, pretty much, they just did 2 fixes. They had an issue where you could be pushed through world geometry.
My favorite.
And then a case where they fixed a case where survivors and items could be lost on traveling between arcs, which was a big problem because let's say, you'd actually lose your character, and on the actual public servers, that could be a big problem because you lose all that progress because your character gets lost when traveling between the different arcs. So
yeah, that's quite an issue.
That could be, yeah. I mean, I keep a lot of backups on our servers. So if that happens to someone, or I'd be like, all right, I'll love you back to what you were before. But on the official servers, that is a lot of progress lost. And then they fixed an issue with the Archaeopteryx latching onto the Joshua trees, which I think are like the cactus type of trees in Scorched Earth. This is 247.7. And then they fixed a Mac text input crash, which I didn't know Macs could crash. So
you're so smug. Jesus.
Anyways, 247.8. They fixed various miscellaneous level issues in the center because the center is something I know that they're trying to continue to polish. And then they fixed an issue where pillars were accidentally preventing resource spawns from around the area, which if you remember a number of weeks ago, they made it so that the pillars didn't have as much of an effect, as far as making things not spawn. And then they fixed the Giga or the Giganosaurus not being able to attack trees. And then this is the latest one, 247.81, which is a minor fix. They fixed overspawning and physics/collision volume issues in the center. So that's just the collision box is where the game actually thinks you're touching something or interacting with something versus where it's visibly doing it. So there was somewhere where either it wasn't interacting where it's supposed to, or it was interacting where it wasn't supposed to. So, and that's pretty much current. The other like upcoming updates that are coming out, I think October 10th, if I remember correctly. We've already gone over all of those last week. It's the same list, so though that won't be out till October 10th, which should be, a couple days after. It'll be almost 2 weeks from now. So
yeah, it kind of sucks that they release stuff like beforehand. Like they keep that.
As far as what you mean announcing all this stuff. I mean, they did with this whole big expansion, keep it a big secret, but they tend to say, hey, this is coming out, this new dinosaur is coming out. It would be nice to kind of be surprised and be like, oh, that's really cool. I think we'd get a little more enjoyment out of that.
Yeah. So that's kind of that's my opinion on that. And I think that's Arc. Do we want to
yeah, that's Arc. Do we want to because the next one's going to be fairly long.
Yeah, so let's do our raffle here.
All right. So I'm going to try to pronounce this. Yukasu. has won, and he's been chatting along here in chat. So congratulations. And I'll announce it in chat so you actually can see that he won. You can try to pronounce that yourself.
Nope. I wasn't laughing at that. Never mind.
Oh, Bloodcore just missed the raffle by like
10
seconds.
Bloodcore, I don't care.
He probably just listened.
You've been here long.
When I announced
You've been here long enough to know how to enter these raffles.
Remember, there's a 10-second delay, so the fact that I hadn't said that there's a winner yet doesn't mean that I didn't roll.
All right. Congratulations on that. You'll get a message from Brian with that.
That'll have a Humble Bundle gift code. It will be probably in your other, but that will be from the Infection Podcast account.
Oh man, do we have a Miscreated update that it excites me? First off, this is update number 40 for Miscreated, and the first thing is, I think we talked about this last week, is voting for Miscreated for the CryEngine Indie Development Fund. It's kind of a pain to vote. If you really like, I'm not going to vote because I don't have an account. But if you want to make an account, you can go and do that. There's a link to do that. It's go to cryengine.com/get-CryEngine. You create an account. You go to the project page. You click like. It's kind of convoluted to do it. But if you're really really interested in Miscreated and want them to be the I think aren't they getting money or something? Is that the whole point of this? They're giving away
so they
money?
would actually receive some funds towards development.
Yeah. So if you feel so inclined to do so, you got to go create an account, and then you can vote. Now, the thing that really interests me in this update, and I'm sure you saw this, Brian, is the Survivor Otron VI, which allows support. Survivortron. No, there's two O's.
Hold on, let me see.
Survive-O. There's an O. Survivortron, whatever. Something VI. It's the Survivor communication and navigation modes, and this is now in the game, and you can be turned on with a mouse click.
Survive-Otron.
Survive-Otron VI.
It's Survive-Otron 6.
Okay.
So I guess there's been 5 previous versions of this thing.
It's fine. And you can toggle the modes using the control, and you can rebind the keys and whatnot. So there's some cool things in here. So the navigation mode will display latitude and longitude as well as a compass and the speed and your elevation and all that fun stuff. Now, this next thing is communication, and this is really cool. This is proper implementation of in-game communication, unlike what Daybreak did, which was put a button in, click
This
on.
is more like what I had when we had them in our chat, and I was like, you need to put channels, you need to do all this.
Which they did, but there was no range. Everybody was. It was a false.
It was just like an open chat.
Yeah, it was a false sense of.
You couldn't use it to really, because I mean, what we would have enjoyed out of it is like, let's triangulate where this person is, because you're on this side of the map and you can hear them this much. I'm over here, and like you could use that to try to track down people. Like it was just no matter where you were, you had full signal.
Yeah. So in H1Z1, it's pretty much just direct voice chat. There's really no signal or anything like that. So in this, and as you can see right here, my ham radio rig, I've got some. I'm a licensed FCC ham radio operator, so I've got some knowledge with this. So there's a few different ways of communication in here, and there's some advantages and disadvantages of them. For example, the CB, you'll be talking on the 26.956 megahertz to the 27.405 megahertz. There's 40 channels on the CB band. The CB band is pretty long distance. You can talk pretty far on CB, but it's a lower quality communication. So,
and I like that. I like the fact that it has a different sound, just like it would in real life.
So, for example, with CB, you can talk much farther, but the quality's not as good. So, if you were trying to you may be able to hear somebody, but it may be scratchy. You may not hear them. You may not hear them. You may not be able to pick up everything they're saying. You may only understand every other few words or something like that. You can also speak on FM on the 87.87 to 108 megahertz. This is only 5 channels of FM, and this is high quality receive. FM is only one way, so you can receive FM. Somebody will be able to broadcast FM, but you will not be able to talk back, I believe, on the same channel, because FM is not a two-way communication. So somebody may be able to create a broadcast on FM. I would assume the range is going to be pretty low for that as well. There's a few VHF channels in here. There's 6 to 50 meters, which is a medium quality communication. 6 meters is a pretty good band. The 6 meter band is pretty good. Again, you'll have a little bit farther distance with this, and it'll be medium quality communication. If I pulled up 6 meters on here, it would be a pretty good communication. Now, the 2-meter band, VHF, is the one that's really, really kind of the ideal one. It's super high quality, and it's got pretty decent range. Most ham radio operators use locally.
And it's 20 channels, so you have a decent number to pick from.
20 channels. Like, for example, all I do is 2-meter. It's high quality, and the range is pretty good on it as well. So that's 2-meter. That's 2 meters to 144 megahertz. That's 144 megahertz band. And like Brian said, that's 20 channels on that. And then the VHF 1.25 meter, and that's the 222 to 225. 30 channels on that, and it's high quality communication as well. I believe a little bit less than 2-meter, but it's pretty close with that. And you can change the channels and switch the channels with pressing the page up and page down key, taking advantage of useless keys on the keyboard. Page up and page down, which are literally not used in any game. And
that's the thing. Like for me, I know some people get frustrated when a game uses a lot of keys.
Yeah.
But that's usually only frustrating for the people that just are starting. Like, a game really has a hardcore audience when like the U, the Y, the T, the G, H, and J are like all used for something.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, we really want to make it so you can do this, but like how do you fit that into your normal keys you would press?
Exactly. So
as they expand out, that'll be pretty cool because little things like this,
exactly,
that doesn't normally fit into your
normal key binds.
Normal game.
Exactly.
Yep.
So survivors are able to hear the output in a 7-meter range. It says it's the same as a whisper around someone using a radio. So maybe it's not range difference, but that seems.
I think it's quality. I think they're just doing it as quality.
Just quality, not range. That's. It would be cool if they could simulate quality.
They may later. I mean,
this has a lot of potential. Let me tell you, you could make some really cool stuff happen with this. So that's cool stuff. And no, I don't. Let's see. Somebody asked in chat if you need to have a FCC license now to play Miscreated. No, you don't. But you can make up your own call sign. Maybe I'll go in there and throw my actual call sign in and
that'd be fun.
See if anybody talks back. So that's kind of the big thing with this update.
That was 40. Well, okay. Now here's some other. So that was the Survivortron 6.
Yep.
Which they're calling the multi-purpose, multi-channel, and band/radio/GPS device because it will show you your position as well.
Yes, it's essentially a handy-talkie kind of. It's kind of
all in one.
It's kind of a radio like this. It's a little bit bigger. This is just a Baofeng UV5, but it's something like this where you'll be able to talk, and it'll have your frequency and what. It typically people that hike, a lot of hikers use stuff like this so that they can keep track of their latitude and longitude and have a means of communication. So cool stuff.
Yep. Now, and some other things, they've added an M16, they've added an MK18 and a Seiko 85 type of weapon. So they added 3 new types of weapons. They removed the old 223 ammo spawns that were in the game, and made it so there was an old type, and now they replaced it all with a new type. They added a taxi cab into the game with there's 4 or 5 different variations, I think. So, those are the main new things. So there are actually 3 variations. They added a new taxi cab with 3 different variations of it. Other than that, it was mostly fixes. It does say that you can join a game now from the server browser. So there's a link that you can do when the game is closed.
Yes.
So if you wanted to join a server, maybe like, hey, we're all going to play together. We could say, go to this page, click this link, and then it would bring everybody into the same server rather than having to browse in game. You can now also join a game from the Steam server browser. So like if you go to Steam and then view servers, they allow you to join a game through there, which I assume, which would be the same also as joining from a friend's game. So let's say I see you playing Miscreated. I can click join game. It'll take me into your server to play with you. So other than that, I think it was mostly fixes. There's just fixes with some character movements, some visual things, but I think that's the main thing is the Survivortron and the 3 new weapons that they put in. So but that's a pretty big update. So that's update 40.
Yeah. So
and now this game right now, Humble Bundle, is still having it in their Humble Jumbo Bundle 7. They added 3 games today to that bundle. And so, because I said last week they usually add more games. So I think they have 10 games now. Yeah, so they have 10 games in that bundle. So for $10, so $9.99, you can get 10 games. One of them they added today is Road to Valhalla, which is like a, Nick said is a pretty fun game. I've seen some video.
Yeah,
for it
you just
before.
kind of it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a ball.
Yep, and you roll.
Yeah.
You roll around and do stuff.
Exactly.
Of course, it's
Exactly
got
what it sounds
Miscreated.
like.
So if you don't have Miscreated, this is a really good way to get it. It has Roller Coaster Tycoon.
I gotta
which
get
is
this
a really fun game.
stupid freaking roller coaster tycoon. Is gonna be the reason I buy this stupid Hubble bundle.
Prison Architect, which I'm
Fun
actually
game.
giving away a copy.
Oh, are you really?
That's
for
the last one.
I may have to enter that.
And then like Punch Club, surprisingly, it was a fun game. I actually beat it this past week. So, but I started playing it.
You're gonna get mad at me. I haven't like redeemed any of my Humble Bundle games for the last 3 months. I didn't even bother installing. So I gotta cancel that subscription. I don't even use it. It's bad.
Well, like
this is a good deal. This is a good deal for realistically. Even if you
$1 a game,
if you don't have Miscreated, $6 gets you, what is it, 9 games? I think. So it's a pretty good deal. $6. Plus, it goes to a charity too. I think a lot of people always forget that. It's like,
and you can actually pick the charity that it goes to.
So let's see if like
I actually have mine going to a local charity.
Is that's an option?
Yeah. So we have our what is it?
Oh, choose your own charity. I didn't see that.
I actually choose my own charity for this. The Boise Rescue Mission. So it's for homeless people.
Oh, you can go to Extra Life. Cool.
Yep. So you can pick whatever charity is your favorite one. And you can have the percentage of the funds. You could even have 100% of it go to them if you wanted to. You can choose the exact amount.
You could give Humble Bundle 0%.
I usually I like to support them.
Or I'm sorry, it's the developers that get 0. You can give the developers 0%.
You can also give Humble Bundle 0.
Yeah,
if you wanted to.
So it's very interesting. This is there is going to be in the future theses and papers written on the Humble Bundle aspect where people, you can literally give the middle finger to Humble Bundle and the developers and give them nothing. It's a very, very interesting concept.
They're making a decent. They got to be making something.
Yeah.
So and then Mute Force is bringing up: do any of you subscribe to the Humble Bundle monthly? If you do, you get 10% off your purchase of regular purchases.
Saul has a great idea. He's asking if he starts his own 501c, which would be a charitable group. Can he pick himself for the fund? So essentially,
I think if you were an official charitable group, yes, you could. So which. Then what are you going to? I guess
you would just essentially get free games. It would just be free everything and anything.
Yep.
Saul, the fact that came to your mind means you're a terrible person.
Well, he's in law, so you know where he's thinking. Like how can this be exploited?
All right.
So anyway, so that's the Humble Bundle. So if you don't have Miscreated, an excellent place to get it. Now, of course, the game that we are going to be playing on Friday, right? Unturned?
Yes.
So they did come out with a patch. And so this is 3.16.4.0. And they added soul crystal achievements and puzzles and Easter eggs. So I doubt that we're going to play and actually find those, being that we don't play it enough to even know what is an Easter egg. And then they added a place, and I think I announced this last week, they added ability to place buildables in the level editor. I thought they did that last time. So they added ramp walls. They added precision.
What did you just say?
Ramp walls.
I thought you just said Rand Pauls. I'm like, what is happening? Okay.
Yeah, politics.
Ramp walls.
Ramp walls.
Okay.
You're the one who's thinking about Rand Paul.
I'm not. I just thought you said it. I'm like, whoa. I'm multitasking. Okay.
And then they said they accepted several new curated workshop items. So that's where someone can actually make something, put it in the workshop.
Wow, what a great idea.
And
allowing the community to make things and then we implement it into the game.
And then all you have to do is just accept it into there.
That is such a... God, I wish...
Some other people would do that.
Some other people would take advantage of that amazing system. Jeez Louise.
Yeah. I mean, this is a free-to-play game, so why not take advantage? Because there are people in the community that have a lot of skill in this. So, so I mean, that was the main thing for this one. So definitely check it out if you haven't played. But that's just the current game we're going to be playing. Now Rust, they put out their devlog 128. And they have been working on the underground caves. They have a nice picture of that you can see.
These caves better be fantastic when they come out, because they've been working on these things for a long time.
Yeah, so these are the natural caves, not man-made caves, but natural ones that are kind of in the landscape. But I mean, if you look at the picture, you know, it doesn't. I mean, it looks like
you're talking about this first picture.
Yeah, and they've got some a little bit later as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's one of them. And if you scroll down just a little bit, they have two more pictures, kind of showing
side by side here.
Yep.
Yeah, cool stuff.
And so that's just kind of showing what the caves are going to look like. Another thing that they have done is they've added a hazmat suit.
Okay.
Which is going to be in game. If you go towards the bottom, they have a nice. I assume it is. I think it's a still picture, so it should let you see that. Yep. So that's going to be in the game. They've been drawing that up, but that's a scientist NPC hazmat suit.
Cool. Yeah.
That he drew up. So I don't know if that's going to only be on an NPC, or if that's something that you'll be able to get in game and actually play with.
I would say probably only on an NPC, but
you never know.
It's just my opinion.
And there's another one where they show the ambient occlusion that they've been adjusting. So if you look, there's a picture of like a mallet.
Yes, that's farther up.
Does it let you view that? Yes. I think it's an animated GIF.
Yep.
So that kind of shows you the change. If you look like at the shadowing on the fingers and everything, it just gives it.
You can see the before and after. It was essentially what it looked like in the before was it was like they just added like a gray
universal.
It just added a gray. Yeah, exactly. They just added like one filter. But with this now, even with that's fog, it appears. Even with the fog being that dense, you would still see the outline.
No, so the right. Okay. No. I think you're looking at the wrong thing.
What am I looking at?
Okay, so the left. So that's just the two variations of it.
Oh, the right one is not.
See how it's changing? No. So that is the ambient occlusion. So ambient occlusion is where it takes a picture and it will make it darker where there's depth or where there's whatever. So it like the shadowing. And so if you look at his hand on the left, see there where
it gets like darker. That's what I was saying.
But you see the shadowing around the fingers?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's putting that into the game. And so it just gives it a little bit, because before it looked like it was more universal lighting.
Right here. That's what we're talking about. This area in here.
Yeah, you can see where like on the left-hand side when it fluctuates back and forth. Oh, it's not fluctuating anymore. But the shadow, yeah, there you go. You see how like it was more universal lighting to where the fingers weren't actually shadowing.
Yeah, it was just kind of like one big. It was just exactly. It was just one like area.
One universal.
Yeah, exactly.
Brightness. So yeah, so that, I mean they've been adding that in the game, just kind of give that extra little bit of depth. You don't seem to notice too much of a difference far away. You know, if you look at the two variations of the picture, it's mostly up close that you're noticing this.
Yep. Oh, cool.
So, other than that, of course, they always talk about the lighthouse.
Yeah, man, they spend a lot of time in this lighthouse and the caves too. They spend a lot. I mean,
yeah,
the result looks good, so it's fine. But they spent a lot of time on it.
Yeah, and I know this one they've been working on music as well. But that was the main thing. Other than those, it's pretty much been fixes in this. So not a huge week for them, but they are showing some of the new content they're expecting. Now, there was a game that had quite a bit of changes, and that was The Long Dark. And I don't know, have you ever played The Long Dark?
Don't think I've ever played The Long Dark, no.
Okay, so this is a survival game that is more of a, it's like a solo you against the elements type of a survival game.
Gotcha.
And so it's you start out with a just out in the middle of the snow. It's like up in Alaska or wherever. I don't remember exactly where it is. And you just have to survive. So you have to be able to find food, and you have to be able to just try to not freeze to death. So you have to find sources of heat.
You were telling me about this. This is the one where you played it. You were dying all the time. You never were able to get anything done.
Yeah, this is one where you pretty much freeze to death.
Yes. Okay.
Eventually.
Yeah.
And so they've added a decent amount of content to this. Now they did 2 patches this week. So the first one was it's about 3 minutes. There's not music,
you want to show,
but it does show all the new changes.
Is this the tree? Yeah, three. Do you want to show the whole thing?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's just play it. It's 3 minutes.
Hold on a second. Let me get it up here.
Okay. But they did add some pretty decent things to this. So I figured with
you said
a video,
there is or isn't music.
There's no music, so it's talking. So you can go ahead and play it.
All right, here we go.
Hey, this is Raphael, creative director of The Long Dark. Here's a breakdown of our September Sandbox update, which we're calling Vigilant Trespass. We've added the first iteration on our improved first-person presence, starting with making all the light sources in the game usable in first person. Based on positive early playtesting feedback, we'll be expanding this to other actions. We feel this feature strengthens the feeling of your presence and vulnerability in the world, so it's directly in line with our overall creative goals. We've added a new challenge, Hunted Part 2. Now you're the hunter, tracking the old bear through the misty forests of Mystery Lake. Each shot brings you one step closer to finding his den. Just keep your eyes and ears open. The old bear won't go down without a fight. We've continued iterating on our world decay systems in order to make sandbox games more engaging over the long term. In this update, we're improving how we handle some of the long-term resources in the game. Weather patterns will now become less favorable, and the global temperature will drop gradually over time until it hits a minimum. Wildlife will gradually deplete, and fuel resources will become more scarce. These values have been tuned per experience mode, so the decay shifts are more gradual in Voyager than Stalker, for example. This is only part of our solution for improving long-term playability, so expect more changes in the future. An environment that is increasingly hostile to your existence is the core theme of our new experience mode, Interloper. We're confident that Interloper is the most challenging survival experience you can find in any game. You start in a random spawn far from any shelter or resources, with nothing but the clothing on your back. There are very few pre-placed resources, the world is very cold, wildlife is increasingly scarce, and there are no rifles. You'll need to use all your skill and knowledge of the game to succeed with this survival challenge. Early playtesting shows most experienced players having difficulty surviving more than 10 days. Good luck. Based on community feedback, we've iterated on the feat system we introduced in our last update, Penitent Scholar. We now limit the number of unlocked feats you can have active for any given sandbox game, with fewer feats available in the more challenging experience modes. And if you're one of those players who prefers to experience the game without any extra benefits, you can now choose to skip feats altogether. These are only a few of the new additions in Vigilant Trespass. We've updated the rest and passing time interface, introduced beachcombing gameplay by opening up the coastlines where items can wash up on shore. We fixed the decoy exploit, we added archery and mending skills, we've made hundreds of bug fixes, and we've added translations for 5 new languages: Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, Spanish, Finnish, and Dutch. We're really excited to bring you Vigilant Trespass, and we hope you enjoy the additions and improvements. Special thanks goes out to all those players who helped us find bugs and finalize the test build over the last 10 days. This update is better thanks to your efforts. See you in the long dark.
All right, well, wow.
I figured that he could show that better than
that looked,
I could ever explain it.
Wow.
It's a true hardcore survival game. And if you're like Ark isn't hard enough.
If you're like H1Z1 isn't hard enough.
And if you're looking for something that isn't quite, the other game that I keep bringing up that is a survival game that's requires a lot of time. I'm trying to remember the name of it. That one is good, but this one allows you to do faster games. The other one, you have to put in so much time to really play it. Like this one, you can just play until you die. So if you want to just play for a couple hours, it's not like a huge, like I've had to put months into this character. You can play and just, you see how far you can survive for. And you see with those new game modes, like if you feel like you're really good at the game, you're like, oh, this is too easy. Well, the new hardcore mode is something that you will die. Like it is a really hardcore game. It's hard to play. Like but if you're looking for that kind of a challenge of, okay, how do I find food? I really have to conserve my energy. Like I have to find shelter to stay warm, especially when the wind starts blowing, things like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was, let's see, .364. And then they also came out with .365, which was mostly fixes for that patch. So, they optimized a few things, but it was mostly just fixes because that for them was a pretty big patch, the vigilante trespass patch. Because they added 4 different game modes, I think 3 different variations of game modes onto it. So, yeah, so it had a bunch of new features. And the archery, like they didn't have archery. Like the one before the bear would hunt you, there was a game mode where you'd have a bear kind of tracking you and you have to survive while the bear's hunting you. And then as you saw in this one, they reversed it. And now you actually are hunting the bear. And then there's some end goal of finding his cavern. So
cool.
Yeah, it is a fun game. If you're into survival games like that, I encourage you to try it out.
It looked, the trailer made it look very appealing. Looked like a lot of cool stuff going on in there. So.
And this is a game that the developer kind of trashes some other games, and I won't name names. They're like, there's no extra skins you have to buy. There's no we wanted a true survival game, and that's what they developed. So it's for the purists.
Cool.
Now, The Forest also put out a patch this week, and this is .47.
Okay.
And this was also a lot of fixes. This is a game that I know they added recently to where the player, when they start out on the airplane, if you're doing like a 4-player game, you can see your players around you, which is pretty cool. That'd be something that's really noticeable. But yeah, they've been focusing on this one on fixing some of the multiplayer aspects of it. Like looting the backpack now equips the plane axe, just little details. And then lots of fixes as far as like materials. Like if you chop down a certain material, you get the right material back. It wasn't really a bunch of new things.
No,
but I know they are fixing. Yeah, they're just fixing a lot of the bugs, and that's the main thing we noticed, especially when you get into the multiplayer aspect, to where it just kind of broke on us.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. So this one, 0.47, this came out on the 21st, so 6 days ago. They're adding some more custom building features. That is one part of this game that is really strong, is the building aspect of it. So they are working on the building system. And then as they talked about how the enemies are now more agile and they are able to dodge, so it's a little harder to kill because they were a little bit predictable before. So that's one thing they've added. And it says they've also added a new profile button to the multiplayer list so players can see each other's Steam profiles so you can tell who you're playing with.
Nice.
So, yeah. So that is the .47. You want to see the full list of fixes. I'm not going to go through it because it's probably about 4 pages of fixes that they've done here. And it's all just like improved look of dead mossy log, fixed eating oysters not working, things like that that is not really worth
not worth reading. They're just enough to put you to sleep.
Yep. So let's go and I kind of hinted at it before, but let me reset right now. Actually, the drawing, because I know some people entered afterwards. So right now it is being reset. So if you haven't entered the raffle, which you haven't, because I'm just saying it, you need to start now. This is going to be for Prison Architect, and this is a really fun game. This started out as a Kickstarter, correct?
Yes, I do believe so.
Yep. And it's one of those games where you have to kind of balance out. You build a prison. I have it. Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, this is too good of a game to give away.
Yeah. So, it's a really fun game. And it's one where you really have to balance out the prison. Like you're like, okay, we're going to put cells here. Well, and there's kind of a story that goes along with it too. Some of the people in the cells, a lot of these names are from people that kickstarted the game. But you have to balance out like, all right, here's the cells, here's, like the kitchen and everything to make it so that your prisoners are happy so they don't riot and kill all the guards and things like that. So a very fun game. And it's done very well. It's very positive out of 21,606 reviews. So people are happy with it. And I think we have 35 friends who have it and 500 friends who want it. So there's a lot of people to play with. Does it have a multiplayer? I've never.
Don't think so. And the other cool thing is if you don't win, for $6 you can buy this with the Humble Bundle and support a charity as well. So, If you don't do that, you will have a second opportunity to get this.
And this is
game
one
at
of
a
those ones
pretty
where
good
if you
price.
wanted your name in game, you pay him $20 upgrade.
Yeah, one of
You
yeah.
can have your name in there.
Yeah, it's just a great model.
Isn't this the one who has like Hitler or something in it? Is it this game?
I don't know.
I think that there's.
I'm just gonna leave you. I'm gonna leave you hanging on that one. I'm not sure.
I think this is the one. I think this is the one where like someone in Kickstarter, because you can put your own name. Like someone put Adolf Hitler in there, and they didn't filter them.
Of course, just normal internet.
But hey, where would he be? In prison?
Normal internet things that people do.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on because this topic is not good. All right, let's move over to current players. We got a lot of great stuff happening with current players this week. How about H1Z1? Wow, look at these numbers. This is combined Just Survive and King of the Kill. Currently playing those combined, 16,171. The 24-hour peak for these, 22,254, and the 70 peak, 27,943. Let's start off with Just Survive. Let's get that out of the way. Currently playing that, 1,554 people. The 24-hour, 2,219, and the 7-day, 3,162. Here it is, King of the Kill. Currently playing that, Brian, 14,617. The 24-hour peak, 20,035, and a 7-day peak. This is the highest the amount of people that have ever played King of the Kill since the split, when it split Just Surviving King of the Kill. 24,781 players. Great numbers for Just Surviving.
That had to have been what, Saturday? Probably,
that was Saturday. Yes, I do believe.
Yeah.
This is Ark. It's just regular Survive Evolved. Currently playing that, 28,361. The 24-hour peak, 44,524. And the 7-day peak, 61,560. Nothing new with Ark there. Rust, strong numbers as well. Currently playing that, 17,061. The 24-hour peak, 31,678. And the 7-day peak, 43,980. And Miscreated, of course, keeping up to date. This for Brian. Currently playing that, 1,554. The 24-hour peak, 2,317, and the 7-day peak, 3,116. So,
which was 3,000 higher than their previous peaks.
Yes. So
so they're doing very well.
Cool stuff. 40,000 people watching on Twitch, I believe, King of the Kill right now as well. So
yeah, he's So he says in chat, he says 40,000 more people are watching the game than actually playing it on Twitch.
Which is fine. I mean,
it's how it works.
It's how it
works.
works.
I just think that's funny.
Yeah. Hey,
get all these people watching it.
Twitch was always big for this game. It always was big for this game. And we're seeing that now. So great. I'm going to bring these numbers back up. These King of the Kill numbers are just fantastic. Like I said, the highest since the game split. And if I have my math right, this game split in February.
Mm-hmm.
We got the game split into two different games. February of 2016, they split from Just Survive to Just Survive and King. They split from H1Z1 to H1Z1 Just Survive and H1Z1 King of the Kill. This is the highest amount of players since February. So you're looking at 7 or 8 months or so, and they were able to pull that out. So. Yeah. Really, really great stuff from.
And we'll just have to see, if it keeps on going up.
I think it will.
You see the numbers. I mean, if you take a look at like CS:GO and games like that is the potential. I mean, if you look at those games, have a huge amount of people that are playing.
Well,
that.
even just look at Ark. I mean, Ark's got.
Yeah, it's a little bit different style though. Now, Just Survive has that potential if they really pulled it together.
Oh, I see what you're saying. The kind of shooter, arcade shooter.
The first-person shooter,
Gotcha.
Type of that. I mean, that would be their goal of having that kind of an audience constantly.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, we'll have to see. We'll see if it keeps going up because that, for them, is very good numbers, especially how down everyone was at the beginning of the year.
Yep, it's good stuff. It's definitely good stuff.
All right, so let's go into tip of the week. Tip of the week is where I talk about either a specific game or sometimes I'll give a survival game tip in general. But this week I'm going to actually give a King of the Kill H1Z1 tip. So this is tip of the week.
There is no audio. That's just great. Wow, this is...
You want to sing?
All right, Brian, what's What is the
All right.
what is the tip? I don't even know why I bother.
That's fine.
I'm gonna go grab an
I
ice
forgive you.
cream. I'll see you.
Yeah, you go to the bathroom or do whatever you need to do. All right, so I wanted to talk about they actually removed the report button from the current user interface that is on King of the Kill. So some people have said, well, how do I then report a player? Because there are still cheaters in the game. But there's not the button that you would usually see to report the last player. So the secret is that you press Control R. This was in the game before. Most people didn't know about it because there was a button that you could use anyways. And this actually in game, let's say you see somebody flying around or you see somebody cheating, but they haven't killed you. You can actually look at that person and press Control R, and it will report the person that you have your sights on. So that is a little hint for inside of the game. Now, they do have a new limit, and maybe this was a limit that they just didn't tell you about before, but you can only report once every 10 minutes. So if you hit Control R more than once, it'll say, hey, you have to wait 10 minutes. Also, if you're running recording software, probably a better option, because you will never hear back probably on the report, is to actually email Daybreak. So if you have video proof, if you're running something that's actually recording the last 10 minutes and you can upload that to YouTube or something and email a private link, you can email that to h1z1cheater@daybreakgames.com. One thing they do ask is that you include in the email the day and time that it happened of the incident, the grid location, the player name. So, if you can see the name of the player that either killed you or is cheating, the server that they're on, which that would be more of a Just Survive thing. You could look at the upper right-hand corner if you can see what King of the Kill server you're on, and just whatever other information that you think might be pertinent to that case. You can email it to that address, and they are pretty responsive. Back when, I emailed them daily on cheaters, I could email about a cheater, and then within 15 minutes, sometimes they would be banned. So, this does work. And I haven't been noticing the people that are doing like flying around. It just seems like there's more aim bots and things like that right now. But I haven't been seeing the players flying, so I'm assuming that they put in some restrictions on that, so that you can't do that. But as Unicorn Joe in chat said, he said, yeah, shadow play. There's also one that is for ATI cards, AMD cards, that you can do that comes with that software. But yeah, if you can run, it'll record the last 10 minutes. You push a shortcut key, and it'll save that last 10 minutes to your hard drive, and then you can edit it and upload it. It's a great way to report cheaters. So that is my tip of the week.
Alrighty. And another quick thing to note. I don't think you said, you may have said this. If somebody kills you and you're at the screen, if you press Control, it will report the player that killed you. I believe that's how that works. But
other than that, if you're still alive, you have to look at them.
But remember, with great power becomes great responsibility. Just because you died doesn't mean you should report somebody. We reported a few people this weekend where you were shot in the head and instantly killed when you're standing behind a tree, which just didn't make any sense. But just because you got killed, don't report. So because you really.
I was actually playing right before the show, and I was talking to Nick.
Oh yes,
on Skype, and I was standing upstairs in a building in a house. And I'm looking through the window and I see this guy across the street in one of the yards, a couple houses down across the street. And I've got an AK and I'm just like, tap, 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 headshot instantly. And I was like, oh, Nick, if you would have seen this, I was like, I know I'm getting reported.
So see, sometimes just because you get shot.
Sometimes it just happens. Like that was not because of my incredible skill.
That was because of your aim. That was because of your aimbot. You're right. That had nothing to do with your skill. It was because of the
aimbot.exe was running.
Yeah,
or whatever. But yeah,
just because you were killed, don't report. But now, if you get headshotted across the yard, you might report Brian. That's
thanks. Now I was watching, and this is not what we were talking about earlier, but I actually looked at the current, the top player right now.
Okay.
And so I searched for him in Google, and he has a video of him in one BR having 36 kills.
Oh, okay.
And I was he has a video of it, but you just always wonder, I see that on his aim, it never goes up and down. It only goes left and right. And that could be incredible skill, or who knows.
Interesting.
But it's kind of crazy. 30-something kills in a game, and he's one of the top two guys that are in that top league right now. And I just wonder if that's like puts you as a target to where, it's kind of crazy. We'll see.
Yeah,
if they get banned.
I mean, I'm sure it could, but who knows?
I don't know. I watched a video of him playing for about 30 minutes, and either because they can be really good at either covering it up or they're just really good players. And that's the tough thing in this is you can be a really good player, and everyone's going to accuse you of cheating.
Oh yeah, it's something. It's a compliment to be if you're not cheating to be.
But in a game where there's 100 people and you killed 37.
I believe I read a tweet from Adam this week that said people are getting high 30s. He's waiting for the first person to break 40. And I the last I heard, he was still waiting on that. So people are. It's not. A few people are getting.
Well, this was on the old map, so the one that it was like a couple weeks ago before the release.
Gotcha. So people are getting kills. I couldn't imagine getting like 10 kills, let alone 40 kills. So. Who knows? But yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I mean, I get happy when I get like 5 or 6 kills in a game, and then he's running around and like within 5 minutes he's getting 6, 7, 8, 9 kills.
It's crazy. So, yeah.
I can't even find that many people that quick, which is why I always say, man, that's it's not so much like being that accurate. It's like how do you find 37 players in one game on such a huge map?
Yep.
When the smoke isn't that small. So. Anyways.
All right. There you go.
That's my... I'm not going to accuse anyone of anything.
Tip of the week.
Yeah, tip of the week. Is there anything else?
Week. No. No, we'll have that. We can do the raffle. We got to get that done.
Oh, yeah. I haven't given away the...
No, I have not given away... What a cliffhanger. Well, you'll find out next week. It's like we're like a...
Yeah, next week we'll announce who won.
We're like a network TV show. Tune in next week to see the winner.
Fat, Broken, Ugly, who is a regular listener of the show.
Disappointing.
Yeah. So he has won. I know he's won before, but it's been a while. So congratulations. This is for Prison Architect. A very fun game. I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
Yes.
And if you win some games, I always encourage you to let us know what you thought. Like if you played it and you thought it was good, maybe give us a review. Tell me, let me give a little bit of feedback.
But remember, you won't be able to review it on Steam. So keep that in mind.
So you might as well review it with us.
So I want to real quick before I finish out here. I'm not attacking Hide and Hold Out, but there is a review here that was left on September 20th, so 7 days ago, and the guy left a thumbs up review. He's reviewed 112 products or 112 games, and his review is good game. Active dev that always updates the game. That's got to be a troll review, right?
Sounds like a little bit of sarcasm.
Okay, I was just trying to figure that out. But that game is still mostly negative with recently mostly negative with an overall of mixed. Still no updates from Hide and Hold Out since the
and we keep an eye on that. So if they do,
just I will let you know. Really disappointed with that, to be honest with you. So there's my update for the week. That's about it.
No, very good. Well, if you want to find me at Boise Computer, we'll just roll on out.
Yeah, okay.
At Boise Computer on Twitter. Or if you want to go check out my blog, Bite of Tech, BITEoftech.com. I encourage you to join our Discord. If you're listening to this especially on the podcast forum, you got to realize we would like to get to know you. We'd like to play some games with you. So
you might want to
you actually have to reach out to us. Well, maybe. You actually have to reach out to us because you're listening on a podcast app. If you want to get into where you can play some games with the people that watch the show, go to our website, infectionpodcast.com, click on the join Discord, and hey, it'll introduce yourself to our community because we have a really good community of players, especially if you enjoy games like H1Z1, Arc, Miscreated, and you're looking for a good group of people to play with. This is the place to start. I encourage you to also join our Steam group.
Yep.
It's a good place to go.
And for a low fee of $19.95, you can actually have a conversation with Brian, host of Infection himself. It's a small fee to pay to talk to such a...
How come you only give me the $2 out of that? What's up with that?
I don't know what you're talking about. So it's we're very accessible. If you have an issue with something or you have something you'd like us to talk about, just hit one of us up on Twitter or PM on Discord or something like that. Don't do Steam messages. I've noticed they'll be like, for example, Landgun will send me a message on Steam, and I don't get it until like 6 days later when it finally, because if you're not both online at the same time, it doesn't pop up. So then like I'll look back and it'll be like, oh, message from 4 days ago. Hey man, what's up? And I'm like, like, I'm like, he thinks I'm totally ignoring him, but it just doesn't pop up for days on a time. So do something like Twitter or Discord, where it seems like it has a better notification system. I don't know what's up with Steam's notifications, but they seem to be off recently. I don't know what's up with that. So of course you can check out this show live every Tuesday night, twitch.tv/Infection Podcast. As I noted earlier, unfortunately we will not be able to do an H1Z1 official wrap-up show like we did last year, or the invitational wrap-up show, but we'll have a post analysis of that come Tuesday of next week. So that's it with H1Z1. Of course, if you're interested in politics and news, interested in the presidential debate in the United States, check out Against the Norm at atnshow.com. They're going to be now 55-minute shows that they're going to be covering the latest on what's going on politically and news across the U.S. and the world. So if something like that interests you, be sure to check that out. And of course, our Discord, our Steam group. Friday night, again, we are playing Unturned, 9 o'clock Eastern in our Discord. You can find the links to that at our website, infectionpodcast.com. Guys, that's going to do it for episode 89 of Infection, the Survival Podcast. Thanks for watching. We'll see you live next week. Have a great week, everybody.